billion years for your local power company to run the sun for 1 second. And it's just one of the billions of stars in our subdivision called the Milky Way, which is one subdivision among hundreds of billions of subdivisions in the known universe that God has made. He's big. Go out a little ways. Let's use that ruler we talked about, okay? The light year. You remember? 5.88 trillion miles. Let's use that and go out. We're just 93 million miles here. That's nothing. Let's take some strides. 440 light years out, we come to this beautiful constellation called Pleiades. Now, I just put this one in because it's so beautiful. And because it's mentioned many times in Scripture. In the Old Testament books, the prophets, and in Job, Job's having that conversation with God, and God's trying to remind him that he's the one that's big, and Job is the one that's small. And he says to Job, Job, can you hold the Pleiades in your hand? To which Job looks up and says, no. And God's like, well, there. One place in the Scripture, it says that God measures the universe in the span of his hand. The whole universe. He's like, yeah, it's about right there. Let's go out a little further. There's so many amazing things. We're going to go 1,000 light years out to the Vela Pulsar. Check this out. This is absolutely stunning. Isn't that cool? Well, it's probably more than cool. It's hot, but it's interesting and amazing. You say, well, what's a pulsar? I don't know. I don't have a degree in astronomy, okay? A star explodes into a supernova, can collapse back on itself into a magnetic intensity. This is a highly magnetized neutron star. It's oscillating 11 times a second, the center of it. And it's huge, by the way. I love it because it looks like double bow and arrow shooting an arrow out, but it's sending out this intense signal out. And not only is it beautiful to look at, 1,000 light years away from us, but we aimed a radio telescope at the Vela Pulsar. That's what we're using to see if there are other people out there trying to talk to us. And we aimed it at the Vela Pulsar, and this is what we got back from the Vela Pulsar. This is what that thing sounds like right there. It just does that all day and all night. I don't know Morse code, but it could be tapping out. No, he's big. He's really, really big. He's a whole lot bigger than you think he is. He's really, really big, this God we worship. He's really, really, really big and a whole lot bigger than you think he is. Didn't want to miss out on the worship. Didn't want to miss out. All creation was glorifying God. And the Vela Pulsar said, all right, here we go. Let's jump 8,000 light years out. This is the Hourglass Nebula. Yeah, I think God just put that one up there for fun. It's a dying star emitting tons of gases that are cooling and creating this beautiful thing. The star that's dying is not the one you see to the left, but the one right in the center of the eyeball. I don't know about you, when I was growing up, the ultimate trump in my house was my mom saying, well, you better watch out and be careful because God is watching you. Well, it turns out she was right after all. God sees everything and knows everything. He can't see you with the Hourglass Nebula. He may see you with the heat or with a stardust ring. There's a lot of options for him to see us. Check it out. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Well, let's take a massive leap. We're 8,000 light years out now. We're going to go 28 million light years. You can do the math on the way home. 28 million times 5.88 trillion. You're like, are you kidding me? No. You come to the Sombrero Galaxy, just one of the beauties of our universe. You say, oh, that's nice. It looks like a little frisbee. No. It's 50,000 light years wide. It's trillions of miles thick. It just happens to be sitting in space in such a way that we're just above the elliptic plane, almost looking dead on the edge of it, but just 6 degrees above it. And just up there in all of its splendor. Most of you have never seen it before. You say, well, what's it doing up there? Just glorifying God? Just showing off the greatness and the majesty of God? Just hanging out in the universe that he made, reflecting back to him his glory tonight and how amazing he is? Since we're in Houston, I wanted just to say just a word of thanks. This image and many of the ones we're seeing tonight have come to us from the Hubble Space Telescope, which I'm sure you've heard of. You're paying for it, by the way. I hope you've heard of it. It's an amazing thing. Here's a shot of it in case you didn't know what you were paying for. You're like, that's it? That's what we get? Yeah, it's fascinating, this thing. This particular photograph was taken in 1997, just after Service Mission 2. The Hubble hangs out 353 miles above the Earth, and so it's got a great jump on us getting outside of our atmosphere and gives us stunning images like we've never seen before. And I was just going to tell you quickly, Chris and I were at a camp this summer, and I was trying some of these space stuff out on middle school and high school students because I figured if it worked for them, it might work for you guys tonight. And they were so cool. They were just like, wow, no way. You know, just like teenagers would be. I was loving it. But I got home and I got a package in the mail, and it was a DVD of some Hubble images and video and a note. And I started reading the note and just freaked out in my office. I've never taken the note out in public, but I brought it tonight. I'm going to read it for you. Sorry about that. I'll just read it. I don't care if you think this is cool. This is cool. I've never read this in public before. It's never been out among other people before. And I'll just give you the short version. It says, "Dear Louis, thank you for your time at our camp. The person's children or child was there." And comes down the second paragraph. "They said you have a passion for astronomy. You may like this collection of HST videos. I was on Service Mission 2. That's what the point I started going, oh. So I, too, have a special connection to the telescope as it reveals the magnificence of God's creation. In his service, Joe Tanner." And I'm like, Joe Tanner. So I grab my computer and I go to the NASA site and I type in Joe Tanner, and come to find out he's like an astronaut. I'm like, I have a letter from an astronaut. I got a letter from an astronaut. That's cool. That's cool. These guys pay a great price to let us see and know a lot of what we see and know. This next image is a shot of some guys in space working on the telescope. I had to turn it sideways, so don't get confused. It kind of goes the other way, but screens are different. That's the bay of the space shuttle, and the telescope is docked into it. And these astronauts are updating and working on the Hubble Space Telescope. And Joe Tanner, my friend and letter writer, is the one in the middle right there with his hands on the thing. And he's here tonight. And I'd just like to say thank you to him for being a great friend. And I'd love for you guys to say thank you to him. That's cool. That's awesome. We're going to go out. We're 28 million light years out at the Sombrero Galaxy. We're going to go past it to the darling of astronomy, the Whirlpool Galaxy. It's 31 million light years away. And you can see why it's the darling of astronomy. It sits in space, completely face on to the Earth. It's called a grand design galaxy, to which I say right on to that. It's made up of hundreds of billions of stars. Some scientists say 300 to 500 billion stars. It's called a whirlpool because it looks like it could just suck you in. For a while, they thought it was sucking in this white blob over here to the right. You're like, what's that blob to the right? That's a whole nother galaxy. Thank you very much. That's NGC 5195 over there. And the whirlpool's NGC 5194. They thought that it was going to suck it into the whirlpool, but no, they're way, way, way far apart. They're never going to touch each other. Rest well tonight. And after billions of years, they'll just pass each other in space. The pink areas, you say, it's so pretty with those little pink twinkles. No, those are ferocious star-forming incubators. And stars are being born in there even as we worship tonight. Scientists say every second in the universe, a new star is born. Stars as big as our sun and bigger. It's being put into place. And God's just naming them all and putting them where they are in His universe. But I want to take you way out. You guys seem like a group that's ready to go way out. I want to take you so far out, I can't even tell you what we're about about to see. I can't even set it up. I can't describe it. There are no words. We are going far, 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 far out. Yes, it is. I'll just let you see it.
Naiman dosta vorbite pena Sotu manga cărdeam